So, I've been meaning to go to Halloween Horror Nights for a while now. I was supposed to go last year, but because of money and time and all that stuff, I wasn't really able to. And all the years before, I just kind of wasn't really too interested. But now, finally, I can say that I've been to Halloween Horror Nights. I had my first night there just a couple of days ago now. I went on a Sunday night, wasn't too busy. Well, it was busy, but it wasn't as busy as it could have been. And I got to experience 5 out of the 10 houses. So this will be kind of my first impressions video. I'll have a more in-depth scripted video ranking all the 10 houses when I get all the 10 houses done. For now, I'd like to give, kind of my first thoughts, my impressions of the event, and yeah, let's get into it. So my plan going into this event was get there as early as possible and leave, pretty much whenever I got tired because I had to drive back, So the goal was to kind of do the ones that were most crowded first. So Stranger Things and Last of Us, the 2 big IPs we got out of the way first. But it actually seems like the better plan is to do the original houses first and then the IP houses because, everyone kind of has the same thinking. It's just like, oh, I want to do Stranger Things, oh, I want to do Last of Us, so everyone goes to those 2 first. I kind of figured it would be like, oh, the lines wouldn't be too long at the beginning, but get more crowded at the end. But so it was kind of the opposite. It was like the original houses were like 15-20 minutes at the beginning of the event, and then everything just kind of evened out to be like an hour long. So if you're thinking of going this year, I would recommend doing the original houses first and then doing the IP-based houses. So the first house that I did was The Last of Us because it's kind of all the way in the back, by far, surprisingly, even more than Stranger Things, the longest line of the night. And it was really good. So this was my first house kind of ever for Halloween Horror Nights. I have done like kind of a haunted house type thing before, but it was a lot more amateur. This was, I love the sets. I love the story. There's a few effects in here that I just thought was really, really cool. And, it's hard to tell really how this rates compared to last year's, considering I like hadn't been before. And it seems like the response overall is a bit more mixed, but I really, really liked it. Like, I surprisingly, like, this stayed one of my favorites of the event, even though it was my first. So, yeah, I liked it a lot. The story is a bit hard to keep track of, and there's a lot of times, this goes for all the houses, but, like, there's a lot of times where I want to look at the sets and stuff, and the, like, the scare actors and all the, the whole thing is like you're getting scared and all that stuff. So it makes you not want to turn away. So a lot of the times where there was like intricate set pieces, like I'll talk about this later, but Dueling Dragons, I almost didn't even notice the dragon statues because I was so like on my toes trying not to get scared and stuff. So It's weird. It's like there's these intricately built sets, but you're not really paying attention to the details of it. But it was still really good. Like for my first house, I really liked it, and I've only really watched like some playthrough of the game, so I couldn't. I don't have too much of an attachment to the franchise, but I thought they did a good job. The scares were good. The story was, again, a little hard to follow, but pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It was a good first house. After that, we did Stranger Things, the 4th season. I've watched this show before. I've watched this season of the show before, so I actually knew this time what they were, translating over. But even so, I don't know. It was a bit of a letdown. Like, I don't know. The scares, I kind of understand because Vecna was really the only bad guy in the show, so like you can do a few scares with him, but otherwise, it was just like the main characters of the show are just like, oh my gosh, look over there, and like those were the scares, so it was like felt kind of cheap. And then the sets were good. There was a lot of like good elements of it, but it feels like they didn't have like a lot to work on, and like, I don't know, some of the set pieces I felt were a bit of a letdown. Okay, next up, third house, Dueling Dragons. I was really excited for this because obviously Dueling Dragons previously at Islands of Adventure replaced by Hagrid's, and I was interested to see like how they would do like the whole lore of this, how they would pay homage, and literally like right off the bat there's a reference to what used to be before Hogsmeade. I don't want to spoil too much of the houses, so if you're worried about spoilers, avoid if you don't want light spoilers, but I'll try not, going in depth about it. But I thought this was like great. The sets were huge. It was built in one of the sound stages, so like they could really go all out, and yeah, they took advantage of it. I mean, it's like these huge fantasy set pieces and just really, really gorgeous. The scares were good, not like the best of any house I'd been to, but it was still like surprisingly good. And, so I really, really enjoyed it. Like I was shocked because I thought like, oh, there's no way they can like make this scary. But, they did a pretty good job. I will say, okay, this is a little more spoiler actually, so skip like 30 seconds if you don't want spoilers. But one of the whole things with this is that you like choose your fate, you choose whether you want to be fire or ice and all that stuff. And I had heard that you choose your own path, and I was like, oh cool, a house with two different paths. But it's more like a house with one path until like the very end, and then there's two paths, and then it's like just kind of a hallway for a bit. So it was a little bit of a letdown in that case, but otherwise I really, really enjoyed this house. I thought it was really good. They did a really good job there. Next up, fourth house, Blood Moon Dark Offerings. This is one of the original ones. I hadn't even heard of this one before, but it was suggested to us, me and my friends, so we went to it, and it was really cool. It was like I don't know, like scarecrows and stuff, and like farm, and sort of I think people said it was like midsummer-y, and it's kind of like that. It's like that, but it's like actually dark, cinematography wise. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. It was good. There wasn't a lot of standout moments. Like I couldn't point you at one specific thing that I enjoyed, but the scares were really good. The scares were really good in that one. Definitely one of the more scary houses, but in terms of like, standout moments, standout elements, I don't know. It didn't really stand out to me like the other houses did, but I still really enjoyed it. It's like a really solid house, and, considering I hadn't even heard of it before, that's pretty good. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And then the final house we did that night was Universal Monsters Unmasked, which I really enjoyed. The set piece variety and all the monsters that they used were really good, like shockingly scary. Like, the Invisible Man doesn't look very scary, but there's one hallway where they really take advantage of the concept, and I really love that. And I think there was also like Phantom of the Opera stuff in there, and that was like shocking too, like just that they were able to use that and get away with that and make it work. It was really good. I really enjoyed that one. It was a good final house for the night. Yeah, and in terms of the remaining 5 houses, again, I've heard Chucky is not great, so we'll see how I feel about that one. I really, really wanted to do Dr. Oddfellows since I've heard that one is insanely good, but I, did not get the chance this time. I'll be back another night, and I'll definitely get to do that. And then otherwise, I mean, The Exorcist, definitely want to do that. That's probably going to be really scary. And then Yeti should be weird. And I gotta be honest, I cannot remember what the other one is. So other than the houses, Halloween Horror Nights has these scare zones that are around the place. There were really only 3 main ones, and then like I looked at the map and it says there's 2 other ones, but there's not really 2 other ones. So one of them was like this kind of 80s themed thing. I don't think it was 80s actually, it was probably 60s or something. But that one was okay, it was kind of weird. There was the one near the front with all the people with the chainsaws. That was like a cool, we went that path to get to Last of Us, so that was like a cool entry experience. And then the jungle one, that's kind of, it's near Kid Zone, but not the Simpsons side. The Simpsons side actually was like a safe zone. There was nothing in the Simpsons area, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, the jungle one was probably my favorite because I loved the set pieces and the character designs. It was just really, really cool. So the scare zones, I mean, just all right for the most part. But again, that jungle one was really good. Otherwise, admittedly, I didn't get to try any of the food. I actually went to Minions Cafe and had some of those Minion Tots, which are really, really good. The rides were open. Didn't go on the rides, really. I would have done the Mummy, but I didn't really do that. Would have done Rip Ride Rocket because, you know, experiencing that at night is very rare. So I would have loved to have done that, but I did not. Oh, I really wanted to see David Pumpkins at the Peacock Bar. I did not get to see David Pumpkins. Huge letdown. Hopefully I'll be able to next time and, you know, hopefully get some footage of him because I really love that character. I know that has some mixed reactions overall, but I love the idea of that character. And then the Death Eaters. I didn't get to say the Death Eaters either. I'd gone over to Diagon Alley at around midnight, and I've heard they stop at around 11 p.m., so I was just a bit too late to seeing the Death Eaters, unfortunately. Overall, though, it was a really good night. I enjoyed myself. It's a really great event. Not too scary. I mean, it's pretty scary that just getting jump scared, you know, you're going to get scared no matter what. But I was really worried about it because I'd never done an event like this, and I survived. I made it. And the theming's great. I mean, clearly a lot of work, a lot of money went into this event, and it shows. And yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. This is certainly probably going to be a yearly tradition now. I really happy I went, and yeah. I'll be sure to go other times, get that scripted video out, so you have, you know, a little more than just 15 minutes of me rambling, I guess. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more on Halloween Horror Nights, on theme parks, on Universal, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.